In the spring of 1984, Japan was shaken by a crime that felt less like reality and more like a fever dream written by a mystery novelist. It started with a midnight kidnapping. It escalated into corporate extortion, firebombings, and a nationwide terror campaign that targeted the country's most beloved children's snacks. For 17 agonizing months, a shadowy collective tormented the Japanese police force, mockingly sending cryptic letters directly to news outlets. They laced boxes of candy with lethal doses of potassium cyanide, placing them back onto grocery store shelves for innocent children to find. They called themselves Kaijin 21 Menso, the monster with 21 faces. Thousands of investigators worked around the clock. Millions of dollars were lost. A top police chief was pushed to a desperate, fatal end. And yet, the culprit was never caught. This is the story of the Glico-Morinaga affair, a masterclass in psychological warfare, a phantom in the dark, and one of the most mysterious unsolved cold cases in modern history. It began on the night of March 18, 1984, in the quiet suburban town of Nishinomiya. Katsuhisa Ezaki, the 42-year-old president of the multi-billion-dollar confectionery giant Ezaki Glico, was taking a bath with his young children. Suddenly, two masked men carrying pistols and rifles broke through the back door. They cut the telephone wires, bound Ezaki's mother and wife, and dragged the naked, terrified executive out of his own home into the freezing night. The next day, a ransom note arrived. The kidnappers demanded 1 billion yen in cash, roughly $4.5 million at the time, along with 100 kilograms of solid gold bullion. It was an unheard-of sum. The entire Japanese law enforcement apparatus mobilized immediately. But before police could coordinate a drop, something unexpected happened. 3 days after his abduction, Ezaki managed to break free from the abandoned, damp warehouse in Ibaraki where he was tied up. He ran into the cold morning light and flagged down a nearby railway worker. The corporate president was safe. The kidnappers had gained nothing. To the police, it seemed like the nightmare was over. In reality, it had barely begun. A few weeks after Ezaki's escape, the attacks shifted from kidnapping to total destruction. In April 1984, multiple vehicles parked outside Glico headquarters were torched. Shortly after, a container filled with hydrochloric acid was found at a company facility. Then, the letters began to arrive. On May 10th, newsrooms and police stations across Osaka received an envelope containing a message written on a typewriter. The authors claimed responsibility for the kidnapping and the arson. They signed the letter with a moniker taken from Edogawa Rampo's famous detective novels, Kaijin 21 Menso, the monster with 21 faces. The tone of the letter was not desperate. It was arrogantly playful, chillingly calm, and deeply sadistic. The narrator quotes the letter. To the foolish police officers, "Are you stupid? If you were professionals, you would have caught us by now. Because you have so much handicap, we will give you some clues. There is no accomplice among Ezaki's family. The getaway car was gray. The food was bought at a local supermarket. Shall we kidnap the head of the prefectural police too?" The monster was not just committing crimes. They were orchestrating a public spectacle. They treated the nation's top detectives like children playing a game they had no hope of winning. Up until May 1984, the fight was restricted to Glico's corporate leadership and the police. But then, the monster took a terrifying leap. They sent a threat directly to Glico. Pay 120 million yen, or we will lace your products with lethal potassium cyanide and put them on store shelves across Japan. Glico refused to pay. True to their word, poisoned boxes of Glico chocolates began appearing in grocery stores from Osaka to Tokyo. The monster, in a twisted act of dark vanity, had stuck typed warning labels directly onto the boxes. They read, "Danger, contains poison. You will die if you eat this." Signed, the monster with 21 faces. Panic swept across Japan. Store owners pulled every single Glico product off their shelves. Supermarket aisles were stripped bare overnight. Glico's stock plummeted, forced to lay off over 1,000 workers and suffering losses exceeding $130 million. Then, in late June, the monster sent another message. "We forgive Glico. It's no fun tormenting a company that is already suffering. We will stop targeting Glico." The public breathed a brief sigh of relief, but the monster was far from finished. They simply picked new targets: Morinaga, latte, house foods, and Maridai ham. The same formula was repeated. Demands for millions in cash, threats of poisoned food, and endless, mocking letters sent to the press. Up until May 1984, the fight was restricted to Glico's corporate leadership and the police. But then, the monster took a terrifying leap. They sent a threat directly to Glico: "Pay 120 million yen, or we will lace your products with lethal potassium cyanide and put them on store shelves across Japan." Glico refused to pay. True to their word, poisoned boxes of Glico chocolates began appearing in grocery stores from Osaka to Tokyo. The monster, in a twisted act of dark vanity, had stuck typed warning labels directly onto the boxes. They read, "Danger. Contains poison. You will die if you eat this." Signed, "The Monster with 21 Faces." Panic swept across Japan. Store owners pulled every single Glico product off their shelves. Supermarket aisles were stripped bare overnight. Glico stock plummeted, forced to lay off over 1,000 workers and suffering losses exceeding $130 million. As the extortion attempts multiplied, police set elaborate traps during arranged money handoffs. On June 28, 1984, an undercover police officer posing as an employee of Maridai Ham boarded a train toward Kyoto, carrying a duffel bag packed with fake money. During the ride, the officer noticed a man sitting nearby acting strangely. He was tall, well-built, with short cropped hair and unusually sharp, slanting eyes, like those of a fox. The man stared intently at the undercover officer, watching his every move. When the officer switched trains, the suspect followed. When the officer stepped off at a station, the man lingered on the platform, locked eyes with him, and then vanished into the crowd. Police sketched the face. He became known nationwide as the Fox-Eyed Man. Months later, in November 1984, another drop was arranged in a rural area for house foods. Police set up a massive surveillance perimeter. An officer spotted a suspicious station wagon idling in the dark with its lights off. When the officer approached, the vehicle sped away. A high-speed chase ensued through narrow country roads. The driver eventually abandoned the vehicle and fled into the woods on foot. Inside the car, police found a radio scanner tuned to official police frequencies. They had come within feet of capturing the monster. But once again, he slipped into the shadows. The intense pressure on the police force was suffocating. Thousands of officers had failed to make a single arrest. In August 1985, unable to bear the public humiliation and the shame of the botched investigation, Police Superintendent Shoji Yamamoto of Shiga Prefecture poured gasoline over himself in his garden and set himself on fire. He died on the day of his retirement. The suicide of Chief Yamamoto stunned the entire nation, and it led to the most unexpected twist in the entire saga. Just 5 days after Yamamoto's tragic death, the monster with 21 faces sent what would be their final letter to the media. The letter read, "Yamamoto of Shiga Prefecture. Police died. How stupid of him. We have no friends or secret hiding places in Shiga. It was Yamamoto who died like a man, so we decided to give our condolences. We decided to forget about harassing food companies. We are bad guys. That means we have more to do than tormenting companies. It's fun to lead a bad man's life. Monster with 21 faces." And just like that, they vanished. No more letters were ever received. No more candy was laced with poison. The monster simply ceased to exist. In the years that followed, endless theories emerged to explain who the monster really was. Theory 1. Corporate sabotage and stock manipulation. Some believed the extortion demands were a smokescreen, By driving down the stock prices of Glico and Morinaga, the culprits could short sell the shares and make tens of millions of dollars on the financial markets without ever collecting a ransom drop. Theory 2. The Yakuza. The precision, tactical awareness, and ability to monitor police radios pointed toward organized crime syndicates using sophisticated criminal tactics. Theory 3. Disgruntled ex-employees or North Korean agents. Others speculated it was a group of former factory workers with inside knowledge of distribution networks, or even foreign state operatives seeking to cause economic instability in Japan. In February 2000, the statute of limitations for the kidnapping of Izaki expired. In February 2005, the statute of limitations for attempted murder and poisoning ran out completely. Even if the monster walked into a police station today and confessed, they could never be prosecuted. Over 1 million police officers investigated this case. Over 125,000 suspects were interviewed, yet not a single person was ever charged. The monster with 21 faces pulled off the ultimate crime. They held an entire nation hostage, humiliated the authorities, destroyed corporate empires, and then vanished into the night, leaving behind only letters, cold cases, and unanswered questions. Who do you think was behind the 21 faces? Was it a criminal mastermind, a syndicate, or something far stranger? Let me know your theories in the comments below. If you enjoyed this deep dive, please leave a like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more real-life crime mysteries. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.